Welcome to our podcast, Life According to Lisa.
Jim sometimes says something here and there.
Today's episode is called Meals, Memories, and Magic. Every great story starts with food.
Because sometimes the best thing served up isn't on the menu.
It's the story you take home with you.
And it's not in a doggy bag.
If someone asked you what your favorite restaurant was, could you answer?
Yeah, but
Can you pick one?
I could pick several, but if I picked one, they'd all come with a story, and you'd have to decide what's the best story and what's the best restaurant.
Okay, because the best restaurants aren't always about the food. There's a memory attached to it, people, moments, things that happen around the table.
Yes, you remember things like when you go to a restaurant, your first date, your rehearsal dinner, your first communion.
Food is never just food.
Yeah, no, every restaurant, for us, we all have restaurants. On my blog, I had a thing called Remembrance of Things Pabst.
Yes, I remember that blog.
So Pabst Blue Ribbon, obviously, but I wrote about all the bars and restaurants that I hung out in and told a little story about each one. We had stories about every single place we were ever in. And I'm sure you have too.
What'd you do with that podcast? that blog.
It's still up there, but let's not get into that right now.
Okay.
Let's go to, we're concentrating on the Brooklyn Witch, which is available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Apple Books.
Just go to thebrooklynwitch.com and you'll see it all listed. And if you want a hand-signed copy, you get a whole bunch of goodies if you buy it off the website.
Yeah, we might even put a meatball in there or something. We'll see.
That would be really interesting.
You think?
Well, you'd have to put some dry ice in there.
Our customers, they don't care. I saw a guy in the restaurant. We were in a deli yesterday, and he ordered 4 turkey meatballs with broccoli rabe. And I looked at him and I said, "Turkey meatballs? Disgrazia."
I know.
Where are you from?
Well, we were in an Italian pork store.
Yeah, I understand. It's not a turkey store. It's a pork store. Walk into the turkey store.
Well, let me just ask you, because people might say, what does Jim put in his meatballs?
Yes, I put in the traditional mix of beef, veal, and pork. I put in garlic, chopped garlic. I put in chopped parsley, obviously, breadcrumbs, and occasionally I might add a little something. Now,
when I add cheese.
Yeah, cheese. Yes, cheese as well. I'm sorry, Pecorino Romano cheese. However, the first time I made meatballs for Lisa, I made it like my grandmother used to make.
Pinoli nuts.
I put in toasted pinoli nuts, and she said, what is this hard thing in my meatball? What is this? What fell in?
Sometimes that's like a crunch that's not necessary.
Well, it's something you're not used to.
If you don't know that there's a crunch in the meatball, you get scared.
Well, on the Isle of Ishka, where my grandmother came from, that's a traditional part. Yeah. Pinoli nuts is in a lot of stuff.
Pinoli nuts are delicious.
And they're very sweet and they're very tasty. So I think they're great in the meatball, but but now then we can't do it because they're $75 a pound. So
yes,
we're not doing that. But in the year 2001,
the meatballs will look like Swedish meatballs.
In 2001, when I made it for Lisa, it was different.
Yes. I just want to take it back to the neighborhood and the neighborhood restaurants. Let's start there.
Well, here's the thing: we didn't like upscale. I don't like upscale restaurants that much. I mean, I've been to several. Lisa and I've gone to them here and there.
So many of them. But where's the fun restaurant, though?
Yeah, I like to go to a restaurant. Like, I'll tell you an example. We went to Florida, and in Florida, there was a lot of corporate restaurants. Mm-hmm. They have like Cracker Barrel. They have different
Cheesecake
Factory, the ubiquitous Olive Garden, yes. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, as an aside, people put down the Olive Garden. I thought it was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with it. And then, but it's not the height of Italian cuisine.
But we did find an Italian restaurant there.
We did. But then I said to my daughter, take me to a place that a mom and pop opened up. And we went to a Cuban place, and it was fantastic.
Oh, that was good.
And because that's the kind of place you want to go to. A family has a dream. They open up a restaurant. And you want to catch it while the original people are there, because then it's great.
Right.
When the kid takes over, then it goes downhill into the dumper right away.
Right.
He starts cutting prices because he says, "Oh, I know what I could do. I can make it this. I can make it that." And then, all of a sudden, it's not
great
working.
When you're with the original owner.
All of a sudden, you're getting turkey meatballs.
Oh, we're back there again. All right. So let's start with some neighborhood restaurants that felt like home, that were around. Some of them are still there. Some of them aren't. We could start with.
And it also depends on your ethnicity, what you grew up with and what you like. Polish guys love Polish restaurants. Irish guys, They just like the bar. Forget about the restaurant. But the Italian guys like theirs, the Greek guys like theirs, in Astoria, whatever it is. You have a favorite place, neighborhood joint that you go into all the time.
All right. So again, which one would you like to start with? Which one's your favorite, or where do you want to start?
Well, we could talk about some of the restaurants in Carroll Gardens that we could go to. One of my old-time favorite, probably, which obviously, and here's the problem, most of them are no longer exist anymore because restaurants have a useful life. They last only so long. As I said, the people who originally had the idea and the driving force behind it, usually a husband and wife, make a restaurant. They want to bring their food from their culture, and it's great and it's wonderful. And then as they get older and their kids have to work in a restaurant and then they have to take over, 9 times out of 10, they don't want to be there, and they want to do something else. And their parents want them to do something else. They want them to be lawyers, doctors, whatever. That's the cliche, right? Mm-hmm. So when you catch a kid that maybe he's the Fredo of the family, he took over the restaurant and it doesn't work out, and you're saying, wow, this place really went downhill. What the heck went on here? And you say, well, the old man isn't working so much.
Well,
now,
that doesn't work with Red Rose.
No, that's the exact opposite. That's
Correct.
The exception that proved the rule. Santo, our friend, his father was the chef. And what he used to do was, as he got older and got into his 70s, he really didn't want to cook all the time, so he had a chef. He had a chef.
Follow his recipe.
Right. Did all his recipes, and he taught him how to make it. He was a line cook first, and then he took over. But then occasionally he would, make a special dish. So Santo would come up to us, oh, my father made eggplant rice balls today. They're great. And I say, oh, okay. He made veal spadini. I love veal spadini. That's my favorite thing of all time.
That was the best. Just letting you know now, if you're listening to this podcast, we will be talking about food. And if you're hungry, I'm sorry.
Now, when I was a kid.
Grab a snack now.
When I was a kid, veal was very inexpensive, right? And you would go, and the guy would slice up the veal paper thin, and he would pound it out. And then you would bring out the veal medallions home. And my grandmother used to cook it. And what she used to do is, she really didn't go crazy. She didn't overdo it. That's the thing I think in cooking, myself personally, simplicity is best. You don't have to overdo it. She would just saute it, right, with a little garlic, put the sauce on it, and serve it. Maybe she didn't even like to put mozzarella on it. She would just give you that. You would have the sauce with the veal, and you would just slice it and eat it with like a fork and knife. It was so good. Or you got a piece of Italian bread and you stuck it between the pieces.
Everything goes back to Italian bread.
Right.
You could put anything on Italian bread.
But I love veal. I love veal cutlets. It's the best. One of our favorite places, Marco Polo, makes a delicious breaded veal chop as well.
And they're still there.
And that's one of the few ones that still remain. He has 2 restaurants. He has Marco Polo and Ioteca. And Ioteca is like a pizzeria right next door. It's very nice. And
now, we ate there hundreds of times.
Yes, easily.
And we had our store was like diagonally across the street. And when we had the show, we ate there for lunch every day. We had a premiere party there.
Yes.
We filmed there. So there was we have a lot of attachment to Marco Polo.
And he's a traditional neighborhood joint because upstairs he has a room. We attended weddings there. And
yes.
We love that.
They're right on Court Street.
Yes, we also love Casa Rosa. Casa Rosa was
unfortunately, they're not around anymore.
Right. They originally was called Gloria Pizzeria when I was a kid, and this gangster guy's brother owned it, and it was a pizzeria, and it was great. It had great Italian food, amazing. A lot of gangsters have amazing restaurants. And he sold out to this guy, Louis, and he made Casa Rosa, and I took Lisa there. I set it up for her 40th birthday. But what happened, Lisa?
Oh,
you were very disappointed when you went.
So listen, imagine you find out, you're like, oh, we're going to a meeting. It's in the back room at this restaurant. We're meeting with the owners because I'm thinking of buying this restaurant.
Right.
And he had me on that the whole way there. So I'm thinking, wow, we might end up on the way home being owners of a restaurant. This is great.
Wasn't that a cool way to have a surprise party? She had no idea.
When I walked in, listen, it takes a lot to surprise me. I was surprised. I had no idea when I saw everyone, and I turned to Jim and I said, does this mean we're not buying a restaurant?
I said,
I'm so disappointed.
You're Auntie here from Long Island. What do you want from me? All your friends. I'm
so disappointed.
I had to call up all these people, and I had to get them here on time for your birthday. Just, come on.
It was fun. It was fun.
It was good.
It was very good. It was very nice.
And it was traditional Southern Italian.
And the food was delicious.
Yeah. So when we had the store, we were in it every day as well. And we took designers there, and we had a lot of different, and their food was amazing. He had mozzarella and Rosa, was
Everything
amazing.
was delicious.
And it was really, really good. And it was a neighborhood joint, so you would see your friends, people you knew. The next table, you knew everybody in the restaurant. It was pretty cool. So we had a rehearsal dinner, I believe, and that's when Vinny came in and paid for all the wine at our rehearsal dinner, and it was very good. So I really loved that place. But Red Rose also we loved on Smith Street. And as I said, Santo was the maitre d', the owner.
And then they had the liquor store next door where they got wine from or whatever.
Yeah.
They had a long bar.
And what happened was I was walking past this liquor store and I looked in the window and I went to the Red Rose. They said, Santo, there's a giant bottle of wine with a picture of Mona Lisa on it. I got to have it.
Yeah.
I know what you display. Yes, I know what you display, but I got to have it because Lisa loves Mona Lisa.
No, but it was actually a bottle of wine.
Yeah, it had actual wine in it.
It took forever to get that cork open.
Yeah, I said to him, is that a display or is that actually wine? He said, no, there's wine in it. I said, I need it. I got to buy it. I'm sorry. Take it out of the window.
It came in a crate for Christmas. I opened it up. And when I opened it up, at the same time, I said, we have to have a party. Jim said, let's crack it open now.
Yes. And she said, no, we're having a party. So
it turned into the Mona Lisa party.
We had a famous Mona Lisa party, which was great.
Where everyone brought with them a glass that reflected their personality to drink from, because I didn't want to serve it in paper cups or plastic cups. I wanted it to be served from wine glasses.
Right. So everybody brought their own wine glass and decorated. One guy had a Yankee symbol.
It was so much fun, all the different glasses.
Right. It was great. But it was a very small apartment, so we had like 100 people stuffed in there.
A lot of the parties were kind of like...
wall to wall.
Yeah, a little crowded.
But the wine was delicious. It was Sangiovese, one of our favorite types of wine, so it was amazing. And everybody loved it. So
that was a great party.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about that again. But moving on.
Yeah, so the Red Rose was great. Now, my absolute favorite restaurant, which has...
Absolute favorite?
Yes, which was there for 107 years and just recently closed, was Ferdinando's, which was more... It was very not upscale because it was old school. It was a Sicilian restaurant, and they served pineapple sandwiches, which was... Pineapple's a chickpea pancake that he served on a crusty roll with ricotta and some 2 potato croquettes on it, or 3 potato croquettes sometimes, because he liked me. He gave me an extra one.
And they had Manhattan Special on tap.
Yes, Manhattan Special coffee soda. And I've been going there since I was in grammar school, like from 1962 I was going there. And the guy that owned it, his father owned it before him, and his grandfather before him. And it was really great. And they had the best sandwiches by far. I remember some... hipster guy did a TV show about all the great best sandwiches in Carroll Gardens, and he won hands down, no doubt. And there are great sandwiches in Carroll Gardens.
My memory can taste that sandwich.
Yes, so I took Lisa.
And the crunchy bread.
Yeah, I took Lisa and her cousin there, and I said, "You can't order." She says, "What do you mean?" I says, "I'm ordering." I says, "I want a potato pineapple special, a rice bowl special, and a Manhattan special."
Yeah,
you're very special.
We're very, very special.
And it was delicious. So I love that place. Now it turns out the guy had to close for family reasons, whatever. But this other guy bought it and fixed it up, and now I've been watching on Instagram, and everybody's praising it. He continued to make the same sandwiches, but he also made it a little bit more upscale. He increased the bar, obviously to have a little bit more of a bar scene. So we're really going to go and check it out, but I hear it's really good. So if you have a chance to catch it, maybe you should. It's on Union Street between Columbia and Hicks, and it's great. But that's my absolute favorite. But there's other places we liked. Lisa, give me one that you liked.
Well, I used to like to go to PJ Hanley's.
Right.
We used to have fun there.
Yeah, that was on the corner of Third Place, I believe.
No,
Fourth Place.
Fourth Place.
Yeah. And what was interesting about that is we would go there, and this guy took it over. And should we get into all the details? I don't know if I should reveal too much about it. Okay. But anyway,
we're moving on.
He made it. Just quickly, he made it very economical because the guy wasn't a good bar person. So a lot of the things...
I tried to help him.
Yeah, we tried to teach him a little, but he didn't want to know from nothing. So he had a lot of money.
But like when we went to church with the family, we would stop there after and have brunch. That was great.
And it was an old school Brooklyn place that had been there for many years. And they sold it to this other guy, and he took it over, and he decided that he was going to have, he had specials that were amazing. So we'd say, this place is great. And it so happened that one of the workers was a seamstress, and Lisa started talking to her. And we decided that, hey, maybe we could, when we were talking about doing the store, she was going to be part of it, but that didn't work out. But anyway, we would go there and eat.
But the store worked out.
The store worked out. But we would go to Hanley's all the time and enjoyed it. And it was bar food. But we made friends with the chef, okay? And the chef, what happened was he made this dish that Lisa loved, which was the chicken.
Oh, wait, popcorn chicken.
Popcorn chicken. She loved that. So
It
my
was
deal
really
is
delicious.
when I go to a place, I always get to meet everybody and learn and know who they are. I know the chef. I know the owner, this and that. So sometimes we could go into a restaurant on a Tuesday and ask for the special that they make on a Friday. And I go, oh, who's this for? Jim? Yeah, sure. Why not? And they would do it because they know how to do it, and they're very practiced in doing the specials, so we would get it all the time. But one time, the guy got in a big fight, the chef, with the owner, right? And he said, oh, this guy is horrible, and he's quitting. I says, oh, all of a sudden, I have a friend that has a restaurant in Manhattan, and he's a chef. And then we set him up in another restaurant, and he was very happy. He went back because the other guy paid him a lot of dough. But then we could do no wrong when we went to Hanley's, and we did really well and got a lot of good food. But that was a great place. Another place that was great that we loved that we never got to go to enough, which was Theresa's in Brooklyn Heights.
Right.
Now, Theresa's, if you're going to go on the promenade and you walk down Montague Street, Theresa's another place that's closed, and it was a great place. It was a Polish restaurant. Man, their pierogies, forget about it.
Yeah.
They were the best.
We didn't go as much because it was like heart attack food.
Yeah, Lisa said, oh, I can't have all these carbs. You're killing me. We can't go there. And I say, well, I could go. You could go have some crackers and look at the Manhattan skyline while I eat 2 dishes of pierogies, But it was really good. It was a great place. Montague Street is overrated for the food in Brooklyn, in my opinion. It always was. But that particular place was phenomenal. And we loved that. I love Polish food. We had a friend of ours took us to a deli in, I guess, Riverhead.
Yeah.
And they had these amazing Polish stuffed cabbage and everything.
It was like Vinny's of Carroll Gardens.
Right, for Polish people.
Food.
For Polish people.
Not for Polish people.
Well,
Polish food.
Hey, listen, is it like here in Freeport, there's some great Dominican restaurants. And they're for Dominican people because he's cooking for his culture and everybody loves it. And that's when you want to go. You want to go into a place where the people of that ethnicity are eating.
Right, like Mezcal
right.
on Court Street.
Mezcal was a great Mexican restaurant. It was amazing. We got to know the people there, too, and they had a back garden that was amazing.
So you could eat inside the restaurant, outside in the backyard. That was beautiful.
Right.
And they had wonderful food.
And they had amazing stuff, and we learned a lot about different types, the Mola Verde and all that stuff we really didn't know. And when you go into like a traditional or corporate Mexican restaurant, you don't really get that. When a guy would say, oh, try this. He had this one dish that had chicken and chorizo with rice and peas and onions. It was amazing.
That was really good.
We liked that dish. And I would recreate it at home because that's what I love to do. I love to go to a restaurant, get a dish that I like, and then recreate it. Now, it's hard because one of Lisa's...
When I think of mezcals, I think of the people that we went with, all the different people.
No, that's not true. You're thinking of margaritas.
Yes, I'm thinking of the margaritas.
You're thinking of the margaritas that we used to throw down. And that's an example of a place that's amazing, and it was a local place, and it was pretty cool. They had two restaurants. One was on Court Street, and one was on one was on Atlantic Avenue.
Yes, we went to that one too. But then we ended up going to the one on Court Street.
That was our place to go.
Yeah.
Right.
And then also, a lot of places are on Court Street, by the way. And some of them are there and some of them aren't. Like 9D is not there. It's a new name.
Yeah, 9D was
the original owners
was a Thai
9D
restaurant.
That Amy used to make and hand roll the spring rolls every day.
Yeah, they were great. And it was a great place, and we used to go in and eat all the time. A lot, We used to eat out a lot because we were working in the store, and when I came home, I really wasn't ready to work.
We ate. There was a few reasons.
Lisa, it feels like we're just making a list of all of our favorite restaurants and favorite dishes in our favorite restaurants, and that's great. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I just hope that people aren't going to get bored by it. So I want to talk about.
They're attached to stories that. The storytelling is what we're really doing.
What's not boring and is very exciting and wonderful?
I never said boring.
Well, it's not boring, but it's
storytelling.
Yes. What's great, what's amazing is The Brooklyn Witch by Lisa Dolan, available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com and other areas like Apple Books.
If you go to thebrooklynwitch.com, you could get a signed copy with all goodies.
Yes, but we're going to incorporate...
And I'm not going to put a meatball in it like Jim suggested. That's too messy.
No, a Pinel sandwich. Instead, what we were going to just jump in quickly and say, we put restaurants, actual restaurants that we know and love, into the Brooklyn Wedge. One of them is Vinny's of Carroll Gardens, which he had spoken on
Other
podcasts, previous podcast, I meant to say. Mm-hmm. And that's hard to say because there's 2 P's in a row.
There you go.
So.
Now you got me thinking about peas and pancetta.
Yeah, that's making me thinking about I got to pee again, but that's another story. So what Vinny's of Carroll Gardens, as I had explained before, was this great Southern Italian restaurant. I believe he's from Naples, and his food is amazing, and it's on Smith Street. And one of the ways you could tell a restaurant is great is who eats there. And you used to go there, and you would see sanitation trucks parked up and down Smith Street as guys running there to get lunch. Mm-hmm. And all the local people would eat there. And I said the grandmas would get their fish there for the Feast of the Seven Fishes because he makes it the way we like it. So he could have 100 platters going out on Christmas Eve. Anyway, that's in the book. Okay,
we just call it Sal's.
Now, what we did, interestingly, is in the second book, just to give you a quick preview, we put a Greek restaurant in there because there's a Greek restaurant on Smith Street that we like, called Avli, and we describe it, and she goes in there and she picks up a bunch of stuff of Greek food.
You have to read book 2 to know about it.
Now, Lisa's cousin is...
What she orders.
Right. Lisa's cousin is half Greek because her father was Greek, and she introduced us to some great Greek dishes, and we learned a lot about the Greek culture and Greek food because we used to have Greek Easter and stuff like that. But it's an amazing, delicious restaurant. And that's in the second book. So we have to buy the second book to learn all about the different dishes.
And know what she ordered.
And as Lisa had said, certain restaurants are important because of the things that happen there, like her birthday party.
Right. We talked about the birthday party, but what about Via Brazil?
Via Brazil we went to on our first date.
Yes, we did. And I remember I had filet mignon and champagne sauce.
Yes.
And yucca fries with chorizo.
Yucca fries and chorizos are amazing.
And olives. Black olives.
Black olives,
so
yes.
Good.
And in 46th Street, there's a Brazilian block, 2 blocks. And there was one restaurant that was really good, too, that I think closed. But Via Brazil is great because they had a little trio that played Brazilian music, and the girl would sing. It
was great. Everything was great.
It was really amazing. It was a lot of fun.
And we took so many people there.
Yes. And over the years, we went there many times. But once Lisa found out that she needed to be gluten-free, it sort of limited our scope because we couldn't go to a lot of places.
Well, before we move to gluten-free food, let's continue on our road. So we had our first date, but Fraunces Tavern
is where we got married.
Yes.
Now, Fraunces Tavern has changed a little from when we went. We went when it was very traditional and it had colonial-style food, which was great.
And it was all the woodwork and the fireplaces were lit and the lanterns in the windows.
Right. And a friend of mine was the general manager at the time. So he said to me, why don't you have your wedding down here? Because it was right after 9/11 and they needed some business, basically.
They were suffering.
Yeah. So we said, oh, that's great. Fine. So, but what Lisa and I did is we went there every week, at least once, to eat. And we got to meet all the servers and the chef and this and that. And it was really good.
Because by the time the wedding came, everyone that worked at our wedding knew us personally.
Yeah, very closely, too. I mean, it wasn't like we knew them by name. We knew their families. We knew the whole deal.
So it was great. Really fun.
But I'll just tell you a quick story. The chef kept sending out stuff for us to test while we were there. Said, maybe you want this. So he says, oh, Jim, I sent you pate. I said, pate? Goose liver? That's not my thing. And Lisa wouldn't eat it. I had to eat 2 things of pate.
Yes. Anytime a chef sends something out, Jim has to eat both of them.
If Lisa doesn't like it.
If I don't like them.
So you can imagine my dismay when he sent out crawfish, which I don't like. Lisa's allergic in the first place, and I'm not a big fan, and I had to eat like what looked like scorpions. So we went through like 4 or 5 bottles.
Fraunces Tavern is still there.
Yes.
And they have delicious food.
They have great food.
We've gone there with the new owner.
Yes. And an Irish brewery actually took it over, and they made it based on their cuisine. So it's nice. It's more pub-like. I guess
it's Pearl and Broad. I mean, if you look up Fraunces Tavern, you'll find it. And there's also a museum there.
Yeah, it's one of the oldest restaurants in the United States. George Washington famously said farewell to his troops there. Right before Evacuation Day or after Evacuation Day. Now, Evacuation Day isn't what you think.
I don't know what you're thinking.
Oh, well, because sometimes if you go to a bad restaurant, then you have an evacuation night.
Why would you go there?
No, that was the day when the British left New York. That was actual end to the revolution. And for the 250th anniversary, of the revolution, it's important to talk about these things. So we went to the Sons of the Revolution owned Fraunces Tavern, and they had it for a long time. And
until this Irish pub bought it.
Took it over, but they
from
keep
Ireland. Pub actually bought it.
But they keep a lot of the traditions, and there's actually the museum. And if you're in downtown Manhattan, you really should take a chance and go over there and see. They have a lot of great exhibits.
Then you could see all the places that we had wedding photos taken because it was pouring outside. So they felt bad and they let
us take pictures in the museum, which was great.
Inside the museum, behind the locked door.
Yes. So it's a great museum, and they always have exhibits. When we were there, they had the Battle of New York, which was great. So they had a lot of exhibits about the Battle of New York.
Isn't that funny that the Battle for Brooklyn is the subtitle of the Brooklyn Week?
Yeah. That's very... very interesting.
The Battle for New York was what was happening when we had our wedding and everybody went up to the museum.
Yeah, so you can see a lot of artifacts when you go up there. The furniture seems very delicate because people were much smaller in those days. And George Washington was like a giant, and he was only like 6'2", but they considered him a giant in those days. So you can see his tooth, I believe, is on display, but that's another story.
Yes. Now, we also had things like... there was another restaurant. Oh, just a funny restaurant. You made me put this one down. Incognito.
Right. So we told the story already about Incognito. One day we went to, I guess it was...
one of the shows.
We went to the show, the clothing show, and said, let's go to...
we already had the store.
Let's go to a restaurant.
There are restaurants. See, we could do a restaurant talk about pre-owning the store.
And after owning
and then
the store.
Once owning the store and then after owning the store.
Right. So, but
because it does change up.
When we were in the in the Javits Center, we had to decide where we were going to go to eat because we wanted to eat afterwards, right? And when you go to the show, you don't actually carry the clothes with you when you leave.
You just put all your orders in.
Right, and then you go.
And you're exhausted mentally, and you just need a glass of wine and some food.
So a lot of the restaurants we used to go to were uptown on like a restaurant row, going uptown from the Javits Center. We said this time, let's go downtown instead, do something different. So we just...
I think we were using an app.
Yeah, we used an app.
I actually had my iPad with me.
Right.
And I was like using this app. This was like so archaic.
Right. So we were looking, and this got some good reviews. We said, let's try this place. And we decided to go down to this joint.
And then we ended up going there a lot.
Yeah. Well, here's what happens. It's the amazing thing about a restaurant. Sometimes when you go there, everything is perfect. We met one of the owners, or he said he was an owner. Who knows? He was like the maitre d' guy. He sat us down. He gave us a nice amuse-bouche. He brought us champagne. It was wonderful. And he introduced us to the chef, who was a co-owner, and he brought out his good stuff. It was amazing. It was really, really tasty and good. So we said, we're going to go, and we brought people there and all that time. Now,
I was actually going to have my birthday party there.
Yeah, but we couldn't figure it out in time, so we decided not to use it because getting everybody there from Brooklyn was also a little bit of a stretch, and there's no parking. That's the thing about Manhattan. There's never parking, and I understand it's a lot worse now with all the bike lanes and all the restrictions that you can't drive, so I wouldn't want to take a car there. So we had Lisa's 50th in Brooklyn, which was another story. But this place was really good, and I told a story about the guy, the chef, going outside and smoking cigarettes and then coming in and touching my pizza. We won't go into that again. But it was a fun joint.
But we had fun there. We did enjoy it. But it's not there anymore.
Right, but it sort of illustrates the point is that restaurants have a useful life and they last so long, and then after a while you say, I don't want to go back anymore. Because I went and you get a really bad feeling about it because you liked it when it was good, and now it really feels run down for whatever the reason. The guy ran out of money, or he has problems.
Look what happened with Seppi's.
Right.
Now, that was a pre-store restaurant.
Right. It was in the Parker Meridian Hotel, and the chef, Claude, was an amazing chef. He was a great chef.
Unbelievable.
French chef.
Jim actually makes something now for me gluten-free that is kind of changed from something that was on the menu that we used to have there.
Right. But what happened was he had a lot of problems, and I came in there to help him. And
Well, talk about what you make.
Well, I make this, I use... from Trader Joe's, I get the tortillas, the almond flour.
Listen to this. It's
gluten-free
really good.
almond.
The almond flour tortillas.
Right. And then just to say, not to give Trader Joe's such a big boost, but they have a lot of interesting stuff, especially if you're gluten-free. So they have these almond flour tortillas. And what they put on it, they have a sliced cheese or shredded cheese. It has Gruyere cheese in it, which is amazing. So I put the Gruyere cheese on it, and then I get some pancetta, and I saute that with some shallots. And I saute the shallots in the pancetta on the side, and then I put it on top of the Gruyere cheese and melt it on top of this.
You were trying to recreate what Seppi's had.
Yeah, Seppi's basically had it almost like a cracker. It felt like it was a cracker of some sort. You know,
it
was
some
it
very thin dough?
Yeah, very, very thin, rolled out dough. It was amazing. It was an amazing dish, and that's what everybody would like when they go there. I would say, you know, I could just get a bottle of wine and lots of plates of this, and I would be happy. You know, that's all you need. Sometimes you go to a place and you say, I don't really want everything. I just want this one particular dish that I like, you know.
There were a lot of things that we liked.
So, and we worked with him for a while, and we used to go there, and we had like a Christmas party there and everything. It was really good. Mm-hmm. Because Manhattan restaurants are different than Brooklyn restaurants. Because a lot of the Brooklyn restaurants that we love are family style, like we said, the family owned, like Santo,
your neighbors,
or Louis that own Casa Rosa, or Marco who owns Marco Polo.
That are there. In Manhattan is there's tourists. There's so many people. You're not going to see someone that you saw the week before there.
And you're not going to go there all the time unless you actually work there. I mean, when you work in an office like I did.
When we were working in the city,
right?
So we were going out to restaurants in the city all the time,
right? So, for example, when Lisa was the general manager of Kevin St. James, we would go to like Latanzi all the time. So we got to learn the guy.
Around the corner.
Right around the corner, and the guy had the same POS, and Lisa helped him a couple of times, and he would come to the bar and have a drink to Kevin St. James. So it was great. So we had a little in with him. So he would say, "Oh, you know, you really should get this veal dish because it came out really good. We got really good stuff." And that would make it great.
It's still there.
Latanzi is a great restaurant.
It's a great restaurant if you want to go. It's right on 46.
But it's an upscale restaurant. It's not like a normal. It's not like a family place. It's upscale. Mm-hmm. So there are some like Tuscan steak on 46.
If you go into a show and you wanted, you know, it's right there, right near all the
I mean,
theaters.
you have to have time, unfortunately, when you go to a theater restaurant because the theater is, you know, you have to be at the theater when the theater.
Unless you eat after.
Unless you eat after. And then sometimes that's not always the greatest because, you know, maybe the people are tired. It's the end of the night, this and that. Becco is over there, which we enjoyed a lot, that Lydia owns. Now, Lydia is, of course, one of my favorite chefs that cooks on PBS all the time. And I told the story. I used to watch her show and then recreate the dishes that she made.
Yes, I'm looking at it on television, but then it was like, instead of surround sound, it was like smell surround.
Smellorama. So we went there, and I liked it. Then they have this particular price fixed of 3 pastas or 2 pastas you could pick, unlimited, all you can eat.
They just keep coming around and putting it on your plate.
And let me tell you, I can eat a lot of pasta. So, but it's a really good place. Now, Lisa took me on my birthday.
That was fun.
For Lydia, which was her top.
For that birthday was very. Not only did we go to that restaurant, but we stayed in. What was the name of the hotel? Just went right out of my head. I was just going to say it.
The place with the King Cole Bar. What you say?
Yes, I always.
It's the Nat King Cole Bar. No, it's the King Cole Bar.
What's the name of the hotel?
I have no idea.
Come on.
It's very famous.
We can't do dead air. I'm going to go on.
Continue.
So I surprised him with, I packed a bag. He didn't even know that we weren't going to go home that night. We were going to stay out, and we ended up going to the hotel. Then we went out to dinner. It was such a wonderful time. We had a beautiful, they upgraded us to this gorgeous Madison suite at the hotel, St. Regis.
St. Regis, there you go.
Okay. It came to me eventually.
Right. The St. Regis is probably the best hotel in Manhattan, in my opinion.
Once you go to St. Regis, you don't want to stay anywhere.
You never go back.
You don't want to go to any other hotel.
We had a suite. It had a full dining room. It had everything. I don't think we needed all that.
I ran down the hall inside the suite.
Yes.
I ran down the hall.
The marble hall.
And I actually tripped and fell.
She fell. So I said, Lisa, should I call the butler to pick you up? Excuse me, madam has had a tumble. Perhaps you might assist.
Because the room came with a butler.
Yeah, it came with a butler. So it was really amazing. I mean, it was the Henry Kissinger suite. So I was looking around for like secrets that he might have stuffed in the cushions, you know, like it was like a secret deal that he made with the Vietnamese or something that he had hid in the couch cushions, but that didn't happen.
Well, speaking of hotels, there's the Kimberly Hotel.
Yes. Now, going back to the fact that we've become gluten free because of Lisa's has to be gluten-free. And there's a great restaurant that we loved called Bistango that was originally on 2nd Avenue, and then it closed down during the pandemic, and they opened up a branch in the Kimberly Hotel. We just recently met some friends from England that came in, and they said, we want to meet up, and we want to see the tree, and we want to do all that good stuff. So I said, yeah, let's go to this place. And they had a tremendous price-fixed lunch that was great.
It was great. It was fantastic.
It was
I would recommend
wonderful.
going there. Even if they have both gluten and gluten-free, of course. So if you don't want to eat gluten-free, you don't have to.
Right. But what's great about it.
It's an amazing restaurant.
When you have a true gluten-free restaurant, they have a dedicated kitchen, so there's no cross-contamination. A lot of places say they have gluten-free dishes, but then if they make a pizza, they throw regular flour on, and then they roll out the gluten-free dough, and you're like, wait a second, what are you doing? It's not gluten-free, So if you have celiac or you have any of those type issues, you really have to be careful.
Just a wheat allergy like me.
Now, Sansa Gluten is the one that's the most famous that's in Manhattan. That's a great restaurant, too. But we really like Bistango. We think it's amazing, and he has great pizzas.
It's a little boutique hotel.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's so cute. It's really cute.
Yeah. So, and in Manhattan, you get these places, and you end up going to them all the time. For example, I love kosher deli food like pastrami sandwiches and knishes and all that kind of stuff. And back in the day, I used to go to Ratner's and to Katz's and all of those places, which are great. I mean, some of them are a little touristy, but that's okay. But we would go to this place called Ben's Kosher Deli, which was in the Garment Center near where we would be shopping. And that was amazing. They had a great little deal that you could get a half a sandwich, a soup, and a knish. It was amazing. And that's, also the Lido Deli over here in Long Beach is also great. So when you find a particular type of food, you find a restaurant that fits that.
Right, but I can't eat any of that, so I'm not talking about it.
Sorry.
So there you go.
Well, we're a little circumspect now because Lisa has to be gluten-free, so we have to make sure that the places have gluten-free options.
So now to get off track.
Yes.
But I did want to
Why not? I want to get off track. I want to be off-road.
I want to talk about the Brooklyn Witch connections to restaurants.
Yes, the Brooklyn Witch. Well, we talked about restaurants and food a lot in the Brooklyn Witch, and we were just talking to someone today, and she said, I had a meatball.
She's like, no, she said she had to go out and get a meatball hero because Speranza ate the meatball hero.
Yes.
And a lot of people talk about that meatball hero.
Right.
So I should have had a warning on the book that says, do not read hungry.
Yes.
Because there will be food in the book.
Right.
I may put a little warning on book 2 because of the same reason.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of food in the next book as well.
I want to say that Lisa decided to branch out a little, so we didn't just do only Italian places. We also wanted to talk. She has a Greek place in it, and we're probably going to do a Thai place. She's had some ideas of different places just to mix it up a little.
Right.
So
definitely Greek. That's in there. Done.
The Greek is already in there, but it has something to do with the plot. But that's another story. But we like the family. I personally love family restaurants, and that's my jam. I like to go to a family restaurant.
I mean, do I give this little secret away? Because we're going to talk about this.
Yeah,
restaurant.
why not? Absolutely.
Okay. When we were on our honeymoon, we were walking around the Hilton Hawaiian Village, and Jim said to me, if I don't get macaroni, I'm going to punch someone in the face.
Yes, because we went to Hawaii. Naturally, we did all the Hawaiian stuff. We went to the luau.
We wore matching shirts.
Yes. We went to, everybody made fun of it. I said, oh, you're a tourist?
But we got so many things for free.
I said, yes, I am
They
a
took
tourist.
pictures
That's
of
why
us.
I'm here.
Right. They know we're from Brooklyn. I'm
Yes.
a tourist. I want to experience
Exactly.
the luau. I want to have fun.
I'm not condescending and say that you should kiss my ass because I'm, better than you. I'm just a tourist. I'm a knucklehead. I'm enjoying myself. That's why I'm here. I'm here to have a good time.
And we had a great time.
And we had a great time. But we said, I really like some Italian food, but I don't know.
He was
if
like, I'm going to kill someone if I don't get some
Yeah,
Italian
I mean,
food.
it was a week in,
Yeah, but
and
when you said it to me, I had just turned around and I saw this sign that said Sergio's Italian Restaurant, and it was up the stairs.
yeah, there was a big light. It went,
And we
heard
came
the
from a
angels singing.
luau of what we hardly ate anything.
Yeah, well.
So we were still in matching shirts.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like pork as much as the next guy,
was
but
just things
it's
that we-
just not my style
We
of
just
poi and all
wanted
that stuff.
home, our familiar food.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So when we walked up the steps and we went to the door, and they weren't open, but we rang the bell thinking we could make a reservation. We were going to go back to our hotel room, shower, get dressed up, change, because we were wearing matching Hawaiian shirts.
Right.
When Sergio answered the door,
he says, "Oh, what's going on?" He says, "Oh, we want to eat. We want to make a reservation." He says, "Oh, come in." It was like 4:00, like 4:30, let's say.
He goes, "You could come in now." I said, "Well, we didn't change." He goes, "No way." Then he let us in. And then you had said something.
I said we were at that time we were obsessed with Sangiovese, Sangiovese, and there's this one particular brand that we loved. So we said, "If you have this," he says, "Oh, I have it."
No, you said, "I'll kiss you on the
I'll
lips."
kiss you on the lips.
And he turned around
And he said,
and he
"Pucker
was
up."
pucker up.
Because we got it. I said, "Ooh."
So we had our favorite wine. They sat us in front of these windows that faced the ocean so that we could watch the sunset.
Right.
We got these beautiful cold lays that we put on that were just out of the freezer. They were frozen. They were just so welcoming and refreshing.
And they weren't at the desk normally as they were. They came right out of the freezer. They were cold. And then as we were sitting there eating and drinking, people filled up the restaurant. But as Lisa and I
we watched the sunset.
Yeah, when we like to have fun.
Such a great night.
It was amazing. And we had several bottles of that wine. It was very good.
I remember them making the salad in front of us. It was really
he made the spinach salad. That was amazing. And I also make that sometimes. I used to make that sometimes.
Now, in the same exact spot, so instead of Sergio's, it's now called Fresco Italian Restaurant. So when we go to Hawaii, we're going to go there.
Yes. If we go to Oahu, yes, we will, because it's in Oahu.
Well, it's a future setting in Book 2.
Book 2 is set on Maui, you said.
Right, but we have to
Okay, we're going to take all the fairies and the monsters. All right, Minotaur, come here. We're going to go to go to Oahu first.
A quick little boat
and we're going to have some Sangiovese, and we're going to have some raviolis, and then we're going to come back to Maui. That's okay. Put that down. Make that note that's going to be in the next book.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was fun. So there was other things in there too. I mean, that restaurant. We went back to that restaurant every time we went.
Yes, we went. Well, right. Every time we were back in Oahu, we went. But we actually knew some people. This guy I knew opened the bar, and he wanted me to look at the books. So we went there, and he had some of the girls that worked in his bar in Manhattan go out there to work. And they said, "Oh, we're going to send you to this restaurant." And it was in Hawaiian, where all the actual Hawaiian people go. It was pretty interesting because they had sternos and the aluminum pans all set up almost like a buffet. Mm-hmm. And they had these fountains. It was really nice, but it was like my theory that you could tell a great restaurant when the ethnicity of the people of where you are eating there, okay? I have another rule for a great restaurant.
Yes, I know this rule.
And what's that rule, Lisa?
It's never going to be as good as the first time.
That's one rule, but I have another rule. And I always tell this to Lisa. I told her about this in Las Vegas when we went to eat in the Sahara Hotel that was no longer there, unfortunately.
It's all about the dessert.
Right. So Sahara Hotel had a great, great restaurant, the casino. And we went there, and I said, "You know how you could tell a great restaurant?" And she said, "No." I said, "They have all the desserts on the God Couple."
From the Odd Couple.
Yes. They have Cherries Jubilee. They have Bananas Foster. They have Baked Alaska. You go into a restaurant, and all they have is, tiramisu and what's the other one? Cream brulee, and that's it. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. And then they have, like, a lava cake, a flourless cake, and all. It's all the same nonsense. It's like, but you walk in and they say, "Hey, we have Cherries Jubilee, we have Baked Alaska, we have."
Then Jim's like, "See,
Bananas Foster. This is a good place. We're staying here because that means that the filet mignon, you're going to get your béarnaise sauce that you want, Lisa.
I know.
Like happened in Michael's when we went to Michael's in Brooklyn, and we went there, and that's an old school place that the waiters all wear tuxedos and all of that. And we went there, and he said to the waiter, I says, my wife loves béarnaise sauce. Can we get béarnaise sauce? "Oh, I don't know. It's not on the menu." I said, "Just ask the chef. Do me a favor. If you can't, that's fine. But just give him a shot." So the chef came out, if you recall, and said, "Oh, who wanted béarnaise sauce?" "We did." "Oh, I love béarnaise sauce. I haven't made it in so many times. I'm going to make it for you." He was so happy to make something, which usually is the way, if you talk to people, things happen that way.
Well, speaking of steaks, there is a restaurant in Bay Ridge that I love, a nice steakhouse, Chadwick's.
Yes.
And they made me béarnaise sauce.
Yes. Well, any competent place, you should be able to do that.
There is a Chadwick's out here, and we're going to have to go soon.
Yes, definitely.
In Rockville Center.
Well, I'm going to tell you a story about what happened when we went to Boston. We were on a cruise, and
What are you doing? You just stopping?
no, we went to a cruise
Dead
in
air,
Boston.
dead
We
air.
went to the north end, which is the Italian section, right? So they let you get off the cruise boat, and you spend the day in Boston. So we get there. We get to the north end. I go into this restaurant, and it's pretty empty because it was in between times. It was between lunch and dinner, right? I said, "Oh, you guys serving it? Yeah, sure. Come on, sit in." So who was there? There was a guy having an affair with somebody. Obviously, he was the businessman with his secretary.
Where was this?
In Boston. We went to Boston. We went to the north end, and we went to this little hole-in-the-wall restaurant.
We got off the trolley?
Yes.
Oh.
And what I said to Lisa...
We never left there. We stayed. We actually moved 3 times.
Right.
A table.
No, that's a different one. That was for the wedding.
Oh, that's right.
So we went to Boston, and I said to Lisa, one of Jim's rules. Jim has stupid rules about everything.
This was off the cruise ship.
Correct. And I said to Lisa, okay.
Oh, I remember it now. It
Okay.
had the broken pottery in the window.
100%. Because I said to Lisa, let's walk around here in the north end and see what's what. So there was this great gaudy place that had a lot of people in it.
And the windows were open and it was packed.
Wonderful. I says, we're not going there. She says, why? I says, because this is obviously a touristy trap and they're getting everybody in there. Not for me. Let's go around the corner. We go around the corner with this restaurant and has a saint covered in dust and broken glasses.
It was broken pottery in the window.
But I said, let's try this place. So we go in, and naturally it was a family restaurant, right?
Right.
But the guy that was in there was a lot like Louis from
Casa Rosa.
not Casa Rosa, Louis from Sam's Restaurant. If you
Oh,
remember.
that Louis.
So he was like very contentious. He throws the things on the table, and he says,
he didn't care.
Where are you guys from?
And I think
I said, Brooklyn. He said, oh. I said, hey, let me ask you something, pal. Why do I need a menu? This is an Italian restaurant. I could order Italian food, right? It's not going to be a problem for you, will it? He says, no, it's not. What do you want? I says, well, my wife likes, at the time she was eating spaghetti primavera, I think you liked at the time.
No, I think it was some...
Carbonara, and I wanted, I guess I wanted fettuccine Alfredo or something along those lines, nothing too elaborate. And I says, and I wanted antipasto, and we want some the dessert. That's all we want. It's easy. And he said, oh, yeah, of course I have that. And he made it. Of course, one of the dishes weren't on the menu, but that's another story. Mm-hmm. So that's what happens. We like the places that we know are not the touristy traps because those are usually the ones that you spend a lot of money, and that happens in Little Italy. Little Italy has a lot of places like that, and also Chinatown and any places you would go.
If you go, all the restaurants.
Any place that's upscale, I always back away from. I'm not a big fan of that because you're paying a lot of money and you're not getting the real food. But in that place, as the day went on, other people came in. We went to another time. We weren't in Boston. We were outside of Boston. We went to a wedding, and we found this Italian restaurant that we went to. We ended up staying there for like 4 hours because we had nothing to do because the wedding was the next day.
We had
no place to go, nothing to do.
So we just hung out.
But they made us move the table 4 times
because they had like a lunch rush, a dinner rush, a birthday party.
So we started out in the front, and we ended up next to the kitchen door. So that was a lot of fun. But, that's what happens in restaurants,
Well, here's a little amuse-bouche for you.
Ooh, I like it. What is it?
Let's do this. We did this with TV shows. I want to do it with restaurants.
Okay.
So just like that television episode that we did, I can't remember what episode it was, but one restaurant would save.
Yes.
So, every restaurant disappears. You can only save one. Which one survives?
Okay. Tell me yours first.
I have to think.
All right. I'm going to say.
I was going to say.
I'm going to say the one.
I was going to say.
What are you going to say?
Well, it all depends.
Okay, I'm going to say the one that didn't survive, and that's Casa Rosa.
Well, yeah, I think
I love Casa Rosa. I went there all the time. We went. The food was amazing. It was.
I had that written down.
Yes, I know. That's why I gave you the opportunity to say it, but you didn't. So I said
because I wanted to know what you said, and then
Casa Rosa
it actually matched what I had.
The 2 places that I would say both closed, Ferdinando's and Casa Rosa. So what can you do?
I know.
That's the way restaurants work. They only last so long, and then they're gone.
All right.
Even
that
out
was
here,
fun.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's what happens, unfortunately.
Woohoo! That's over. That little goodness.
Right. Well, so we went over the restaurants. We went over what restaurants, are important to you because of events in your life. we could tell stories about the places we went to and remember. Oh, remember that?
Is there a restaurant that changed your life?
A restaurant that changed my life?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. Is there a restaurant that changed your life?
Well, I think if we talk about Viva Brazil, that was our first date. That was the beginning of everything.
Yes, that's true. But, I mean, a restaurant that changed your life is hard. I will say...
Maybe that's too much of a sentence.
Yes, it's putting too much on the restaurant, right? Mm-hmm. Back in the day...
Is atmosphere more important than the food?
No, food is important.
Like some people go out for atmosphere.
Yes, it has
and
to.
And they
have,
like the decor, and if there's movie stars there, and they don't care what the food
right.
tastes like.
And Lisa and I are very different because I don't. When I say I don't care about the decor, I really don't. And the food is great. That's all I care about. Now, I took Lisa to one of the Chinese restaurants I used to do the taxes for.
Oh my God!
And Lisa went, "This place is disgusting."
I said, "We're never
I said, "But the food
again.
is delicious." She said, "I don't care." I said, "Oh, okay.
Never
what are you going to do? We're never going back."
Now.
And I went to that place. Let me tell you something. I went to that place at least once or twice a week for like 20 years.
Yeah, well.
Ever since I was like 17.
I went once.
Right?
Once.
Yes. Once was enough.
That's it. I think I had to like walk over planks to get to the bathroom.
Yeah, he had a little flood that day. It was unfortunate.
It was not good.
Things happen.
But then there was a neighborhood restaurant that we used to go to all the time, Mama Maria.
Yes. And we became friendly with John, the owner. And it was a family restaurant. It was there a long time. And we would go and we'd bring our friends there. And we brought our friends one time and they were having a block party and they had the whip.
Oh, my God. So he said, "Hey, girls, you want to go on? Like, they have the rides outside." And it was at the end of the night. We already finished eating. And then all of us, my friends that I grew up with, we all got on the whip and we were laughing and crying, laughing on this whip. It was hysterical. I may attach a video and some pictures of that night at Mama Maria when we were on the whip. I'll put it on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I like to attach some pictures of all the food we ate, but there's not enough room.
There's not enough room. But anyway, this show wasn't about like a restaurant review show. It was just about how places became part of our lives and part of the Brooklyn Witch. So if you want, you can add some, as listeners, you could put some comments down of your favorite places and maybe some memories attached to them.
Yeah, I like to hear favorite places, especially in the Long Island area since we're out here now.
And leave it in the comments. Yes, give us some reviews.
Or even if you're from Carroll Gardens and you want to tell us the new places when we get a chance to go down
there. Or that
there.
you miss the same restaurant.
Yeah, or restaurants that you miss from back in the day. I mean, there's a lot of restaurants that people remember very fondly and no longer around. So.
Well, anyway, it comes to that. We're at that time again, Jim.
Yes, when we say our famous last words, which is same stoop.
Different magic.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.